I don't really know that much about Indonesian martial arts. It's kind of been a bit of a mystery and a secret over the years, but from what I've seen, it's beautiful. And there's just something about Nicholas. But anyway, let's go meet him. Let's go meet him. Yeah. I've never come across a martial art as secretive as Silat, and I honestly don't know what to expect and how they will react to a stranger being in the room. This is by invitation only. This closed shop policy, it's like stepping back 100 years. It's an art that has strong Islamic connections and its practitioners closely guard its secrets. It took me nearly a year just to negotiate this access today and to find a master who's prepared to talk on camera.
I've been studying martial arts for about 30 years. I started when I was a young kid doing judo at a local judo club. My father used to take me down there because my father was a bit of a lad. He was in the army, he done boxing, and from a young age he always used to say to me, son, I'm a fighter, because you know, it was a bit of a difficult life that my dad had because he was an alcoholic. And so being brought up with the other children, my sisters and my brothers, it was quite difficult because always seeing my mum is very religious and always stable in the mind, and my dad is a bit of an alcoholic. First of all, we give each other the traditional greeting, which is hands together and just a greeting that we're going to train together. And what this means in Silat, it means that I'm going to give my body to you totally, and you're going to give your body to me totally. There's going to be no ego in between us. You know? And there's different kind of music. There's some music is very powerful, some music is very soft. And according to the music, it's how you move in Silat. And the mat is called the galangang, which means the training area. And it's an area which is respected in the sense that when you step on that mat, you leave your ego out behind, and we go on that mat with the intention of emptying our knowledge and learning something which comes new to us. My mum was a very solid backbone of the family, you know, religious, pious, old thinking, village type lady with morals, ethics, trying to teach us do the right thing, never do the wrong thing. My dad was carefree, you know, just hanging around, like going down the pub every night, you know, getting drunk, you know. So every time I looked to a father figure, I could never find one. I could never find a father figure. So I used to lie in my bed at night as a young kid, and I used to cry my eyes out because I didn't know what to do in the situation. I used to see my mum arguing with my dad and my dad arguing with my mum, and I thought, this is not normal. You know, it's like I had no spiritual support, and all our families were getting, our sisters and brothers were getting pulled apart. Like my brother, you know, he was separate, my sister was separate. We were all living in the same house. Sometimes for days and days we would never even speak to each other. So what actually happened is, this story is very significant to my character, because as you know, sometimes when you're young, things happen to you, they can affect your character. So I became a bit of introvert. I started to get into myself more, and like, I used to be in the house not speaking for days. Your right foot on the mat, and your hand facing the earth. And this is a sign of humility. If the master's present and the other students are present, you're humbling yourself, and instead of walking proudly past somebody proudly, because in Silat there's many masters, they don't show their skill. So it could be an old man, he's a deadly master, but you just walk past him and he looks at you and you just go, yeah, here I am. But in Silat you have to, when you walk into the mat, you have to humble yourself and walk past the elders in a state of humility. Okay. So this is what it means to enter the mat like this. Yeah.
In our family, we never really had, and it's a bit sad because I would have liked that, these evenings where all the family gather around the table.
It wasn't like that.
It wasn't like that. No. One person, say my parents might eat at a certain time, we'd come and go and people would grab their food. Plus it wasn't because we weren't united or we didn't care about each other. It was more to do with that we all had different things going on in our lives, you know, like maybe a couple of us at the time had judo classes to go to, someone else was studying, and so everyone was just doing their own thing. So we were all in the same house doing our own thing.
That's true.
So we hardly ever really sat together as a family. And even most recently, probably about the last 4 or 5 years, that for maybe about 15 years, I hardly saw Nick. And he got involved with his spiritual path, got married to a Muslim lady. And then we didn't see him very much because there was an antagonism with my parents because of the Christian background. But that's kind of changed a big deal now. And like I said, over the 4 or 5 years now, we've always got together pretty much as a family at Christmas time. And I would say it's just like, I don't know what typical families, I mean, everybody has their problems and their joys.
That's
so
it's
the same, but there's a lot of love between us, and there's a lot of sharing, there's a lot of caring. And there is support in our family.
He used to say to us that he had a few bad experiences, like for example in the war, he saw so many people getting bombed and blown up, and he used to tell us when we were young boys that, you know, that it was very difficult for him to deal with that. So as I was growing up, I kind of understood why my dad turned to alcohol. Yeah. And the reason why I'm explaining this part about alcohol is because it's got a big influence on the reason why I started martial arts and what happened to me. And then you come back from there.
I've found through my own experiences that martial arts is a good way of keeping your anger under control. Had Nicholas gone the other way, I suspect his experiences may well have destroyed him.
We were just about to move from the house we were living in Upton, Clapton, down to Graham Park Estate. It was a new estate built in that area, and we were at the age of about 12, 13, and what happened is we moved down to Graham Park Estate, and at that time the National Front movement was very famous.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like, I mean, if you are from an ethnic minority, it's a bit difficult because sometimes you get racially attacked. So we didn't know that on this particular estate there was a lot of racial attacks. But anyway, we moved in. Everyone was happy, you know. Then the next day, first day out to play. So I come out to play. You know, wandering around the estate. I meet this guy. His name is Paul Goslin, the local neighbour. First, so I said, "Hi, how are you?" He gives me his greeting. "How are you, you packy? I'll beat you up." So I was thinking, oh.
Fear is one of the many reasons that people take up martial arts. But once they're here, it's quickly replaced with a sense of physical and emotional well-being. A feeling of disempowerment can and will destabilise anyone. I've found through my years of experience that martial arts training is quite simply one of the best ways to redress this imbalance.
And then from that day onwards, whenever I would come out of my house, whenever I would see this guy Paul Gosling around the shops, on the estate, because one thing about this estate is the whole estate was built. There was a school in it, there were shops in it. Everything you needed was on this estate. For 15, 16 years of my life, I was only on this estate. I never ever went to Camden Town, Wood Green, outside London, unless my family went to visit their family by car, and then we would come back. I was so afraid to come outside my front door. When I used to go outside my front door, it was like, I used to look behind the wall, is anyone there? And I used to run to the next wall, look behind the wall, is anyone there? And I used to go around the whole estate like this. I was terrified. And their gang became so big, it used to become 30 people at one time. And what happened, the one time I came around the shops, you know, just get something for my mum, some milk or whatsoever, and I froze. 30 people coming towards me, saying, "Come on, let's get him, there he is, let's get him," you know, the local punch bag. So they come up to me, they were kicking me, punching me, beating me, abusing me, calling me bad names, racial names. And I was on the floor and I was crying my eyes out. I can remember this is the one incident that I remember out of all the beatings that I got the most. I was crying my eyes out. And the reason why I was crying It's because I was thinking to myself, why me? Why me? Why are they beating me up? Hold them up.
This is my first and only preparation before meeting the Silat master on the mat, before I face him for the fight. This is my final test. Is he going to deem me a worthy opponent? I still don't know. It's essential for Nicholas to know my attitude and headspace is right, otherwise there could be a lot of damage. But do I have the attitude and skills to survive?
Amazing experience. The game never stops, it's just continually going. There's so much strength and power behind what Nicholas does. But the beauty of what Nicholas does is his attitude.
Breathing in. Bend the knees, breathe out. Breathe in. Brush the hands out. Back. First scenario of self-defense. Okay. What happened is, I'm walking on the estate. I've learnt the centre line punch with the basic Wing Chun styles, because in the Lao system they do many kind of styles. And I was right at the other end of the estate, and I was coming behind the wall. I turned the wall to walk into the shopping mall. I see about 25 guys who were always beating me up, and I just stood there like that. And I was terrified, and I froze, I wasn't moving. And that was the first time in my life, these guys, they walked up to me, and instead of walking into me and beating me, as they were walking towards me, they were going, look, there he is, and they went like that, they went around me. And they were all looking at me, and they were cursing me and calling me the bad names, and they were going, I don't know what the hell they saw, but I was froze then. I was thinking, I'm going to do this move, and I was amazed. I turned around and I looked at them walk off and I thought, wow, what happened? When they found out I was learning from Ricky, a lot of them started to leave me alone.
This gang of rude boys just gets on, you know, like really it was about 10 people, and they just took over the, you know, took over the train car, you know. And immediately this very, very heavy vibe, you know, really, you know, trying to intimidate everyone basically, and for being very loud. And, you know, I mean, you know, this thing about martial arts, you have martial arts that actually gives you a confidence to actually deal with that situation and be comfortable within that situation. Whereas you could see physically on the faces of some of the other people, they were, you know, petrified. And which anyone that's grown up in kind of inner cities around the world will be able to identify with that. Yeah. But immediately Nick just started talking to them, you know, just like, oh, do you know about Muhammad Ali? Do you know he was, you know, he was into spirituality?
Yeah,
and
talking,
he has this
we're not slaves,
no human being should be over another one. And immediately it was amazing, because all of these people, all of these rude boys, they just turned around, they become just so gentle and just communicating and talking. And it was fantastic.
But in Silat, the whole body must stay alive all the time, like a bird. So if these are the wings of the bird flies that way. But
This might not look like much, but here Nicholas is helping me build an incredible web of defence, which is so good I incorporated it into my own fighting system.
somewhere in between from the age of 25 to the age of 40 that I am now, I met this man here. I'd like to show you this picture. And this man here, he's from the family of Jalaluddin Rumi. A lot of people have heard of Rumi the poet. Rumi the poet is a famous, well-known famous poet from Konya. What happened is, I met this person, his name is Sheikh Nazim, a well-known spiritual Sufi master of the Naqshbandi order. The Naqshbandi order means the teaching of the heart. And when he saw me, he came in the Sufi center, he looked at me and he gave me this amazing smile. And I was on cloud nine. He gave me this, he filled me with so much happiness and joy and love. I was on cloud nine. And then after he gave a little lecture, then he went away. When I saw him again, he gave me this really, really serious look. I was down, I hit the lowest earth you could hit. So I thought, well, what is this guy about, man? For 1 minute I meet this guy, I'm up, 1 minute, and for about 3-4 days I was seeing this guy. He was smiling at me, I was hitting heaven. He was looking at me serious, I was hitting the earth, and I thought, wow, this guy's affecting me big time. You know, I don't know what he's doing to me, this guy, you know. Yes, I fly back, and I earth. I start to play with the wings. I start to turn with the wings. So what our master is teaching us, our Grandmaster, he's teaching us that the rose represents the human heart. And the human heart, he says, is very beautiful and everybody likes the rose and the smell of the rose. So he's trying to get us to open our hearts so our hearts smell like roses. But before we can do that, we've got to follow the path of the stem. And the stem is very prickly and thorny. Sometimes when you take the stem, it hurts. What I learned from Arifin was I learned these 10 movements with this spiritual breathing, and he said if I practice these movements, I'll get the power that I can hit from a distance. But he said if I don't believe it, I can use it on a dog, on an animal. But I didn't want to use it because I was, you know, following this Rastafari background, Sufi, powerful style of living. I didn't want to hurt people, yeah? So when I was doing these 10 movements, suddenly, in the middle of the night, I'll be sleeping on my bed, pitch dark at night. Open my eyes, and from the middle of my sleep, I see a red arrow, like firing to me at the speed of light. A red arrow is coming to hit me, and I'll dive out the bed, like I fly out the bed, and with my fingers like this. I remember this is one of the spiritual movements that I learned. With my I fly and I block this arrow, like this, and I'll be landing. I land across the other side of the room, like in this position like this, and the arrow's over there, like it'll disappear. And when I landed across the room, like standing there, you know, I just realised what the hell happened, because I just woke out of my sleep, and I was so afraid, you know, thinking I'm going to die, like I'd been possessed by something or some kind of force, you know, it was around me, and I didn't understand it. What happened is that was the one strange experience I had. And I said that's why I never ever practiced these 10 movements again. I was afraid, Sheikh, to practice these movements. And he said to me, Sheikh Abdul Rahman said to me, no, this knowledge, there's a lot of wisdom, there is something true in this knowledge, he said to me, but you never had the spiritual formula to go with it. So he said, now I'm telling you to practice it for 40 days. Within, without, and earth. On the 40th day of that practice, yeah, okay, Sheikh Abdul Hamid came to me in the dream, and he says to me, Nicholas, come, quick, come to this big field. Look at these 2 people, they're going to be your teachers. They were dressed in purple, and one of them had an amazing sword. And this amazing sword is this sword here, right, this sword, right here. And you've got the branches, but you can make it into a fruit. the next day after that dream, and I'm going to change my daughter's passport, to renew my daughter's passport in the passport office down there. Guess who I bump into? Jerry Tan on the street. Jerry says to me, "Hi Nick, long time. Oh Jerry, how are you? Long time no see you." He said, "Oh, it's really good that you bump into me today, because today's my birthday. Come, I want to take you to Chinatown to eat some food with me." After that meeting, Jerry said to me, "Come to my house. I want to speak to you." Yeah? And I hadn't seen Jerry for a long time, you know. So I went to Jerry's house, and Jerry says to me, "I want to give you something that's been passed down from teacher to teacher, to my teacher, and to me, and now I want to pass it to you." So I said, "What is it there, Jerry? What is it, Jerry?" So Jerry went to the cupboard under the sink, and he pulled out this weapon. This is it's called a traditional crease. Crease is the national weapon of the Malays and Indonesians, and it's a spiritual weapon. Jerry said to me, "I want to give you this." And I knew from Silat that there's something mystical about these things. I was scared to take it. So I went around the corner, I phoned up Sheikh Abdul Rahman without Jerry knowing, you know. But I didn't want to be rude to Jerry, but I was a bit afraid. So I said, "Sheikh, Jerry, my martial art teacher, wants to give me this crease. He's telling me it's come from his teachers, and he wants to give it to me. Because he said, I'm teaching, I'm upholding the name of the club." So I said, "But I don't know about these weapons." He said, No, take it. The Sheikh said to me, "Take it. It's a blessing."
I know that Nicholas and those around him believe these things happened. And even though I find this hard to accept, I simply can't say it's not true, just because it's outside my own range of experience. In fact, the only thing I do know with complete certainty is that Nicholas has given me much to think about.
I was looking for a Silat teacher all over Malaysia, I couldn't find one. Everybody I was asking, "Do you know Silat?" Everyone was saying to me, "I don't know Silat." I couldn't believe it was true or not. And what happened is, the last 5 days before I was leaving Malaysia, this Sufi came to me. He said to me, "I'll teach you Sufi meditation." I said, "Are you a Silat teacher? Do you know Silat?" He said, "Silat, don't you dare ask me about Silat. Ask God to forgive you. Why are you always thinking of Silat martial arts? You know, you need to learn how to meditate, yeah, to become a good person, not to learn martial arts. Forget martial arts." So I thought, yeah, this man is right, you know. I've been going like a madman all my life doing martial arts. I need to learn how to balance myself as a human being. This man is telling me the truth. So what happened is, I went into his class, and he got out the book. He started reading it. "Baban wali baban, tatan wali tatan, thathan wali thathan." And when I heard these words, I was crying. And all the students were saying, "What's wrong with you? Why are you crying?" What I was understanding, when he says baban, what this man was asking, he was asking that whatever spiritual being is behind this door, please can you open this door and become friends with these people so they can understand your knowledge. He was asking the spiritual keepers of the knowledge to guide us and to become friends and give us their knowledge. And I was understanding this. I don't know how, but I was understanding it like it was the English language. And the next day, when he came to class, that guy, he walked in, he sat down, and he said to all of his students, "All of you, go in the class. You need to learn how to meditate." And he says to me, you go over there. You need to learn Silat." And I went, whoa, I was over the moon. And anyway, so I came over, he went in the class, and he came out to me. I said to him, "Listen, why you want to teach me Silat?" He said to me, "Listen, yeah, I stopped teaching Silat for a long time, but 2 people came to me in a dream last night from the unseen world. And they said to me, 'This man, you have to teach him.' So that's why I'm teaching you," he said, you know. He said, "Because what I'm going to give you," he said, "what I'm going to give you, you're going to have a gift. And you're going to be able to spread this gift to the Western world."
It took me a long time to find a Silat master that would agree to be filmed. I've had secret meetings and even been threatened by some because they didn't want me to reveal their secrets. Nicholas has shown me a beautiful and deadly fighting system. He's told me things I find hard to accept, but are just as hard for me to reject. But the belief system held by Nick and his students is clearly empowering to all involved, and even spreads out as a positive influence for good beyond this inner circle. At the end of the day, there's no right or wrong here. There's only what works. And this, quite simply, is the heart and the message of all martial arts.